All praises to the Most High, Yodewave, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. In the name of the Son, Yudewave, Bet Yusofit, Yudewave, and the Holy Spirit. I've been thinking about this topic for a while. ADOS, Judah, the American descendants of slaves, and the tribe of Judah, the Hebrew Israelite community. I was just thinking about something, how a lot of things we have in common as so-called black people, but we don't unify as we should. So what is the difference between the two? There's a few, but the main point of this discussion is going to be that there is an obvious unification. This is there and needed to be taken place. Are there some differences there? Absolutely. One group believes that reparations is going to be given by the government, then the other group believes that reparations is going to be given by the Most High, which is primarily the same argument as a scientist and a theologian. It's really the same. Whatever we do receive is going to be given by the Most High. I did a video about this a few months ago, and coming out with great substance as the people will do once the Most High deliver his own. That substance and that wealth is going to be given from other nations. So essentially, there's a common link between the belief of the two groups. The American descendants of slaves that's sick and tired of going out here and supporting these political movements from the Democratic Party for other groups of people that's done nothing for us. That's one of another main point of ADOS, the American descendants of slaves, which is a very good point. Outside of politics, the grassroots, so-called African American, so-called black, the tribe of Judah, we don't support these other groups such as illegal immigration, such as these other dark-skinned groups of people who have only benefited from what we have achieved. And every time they get in trouble, they start hollering about Martin Luther King. They start hollering about we in this together. And I know you've heard people talk about that. And I'm going to stay on that real quick, that topic about other groups of people. Now, there's nothing wrong with supporting other dark-skinned groups of people, but you have to do that on an individual basis. So say you have a friend from India, or a friend that's Puerto Rican, Hispanic, Filipino, or whatnot, and they support the black struggle, then you can support them, but it has to be proven. It can't be anything that you say, well, they're dark-skinned, or they're melanated, so I'm going to support them. And history says that's not a smart thing to do. We have to understand that there is a very particular struggle that the tribe of Judah, ADOS, goes through in this country. And we're going to have to unite. Now, there is some differences. ADOS out there, they have a lot of issues as it pertains to groups leading their cause that are homosexual or that are bi and these other things, in which the tribe of Judah believes that creation is of a man and a woman, and that is the sexuality or the sensuality or the pairing that should happen amongst the tribe of Judah, the American descendants of slaves. So there are some issues there. You have some people supporting that movement that actually has an issue living right by the Bible, living right morally. So those are a few issues we're going to have to correct. But mainly, when you say American descendants of slaves, that is the tribe of Judah. So we have a lot in common that we need to link up and fix a few problems, a few disagreements here and there. But basically, That's something that I'm going to try to start. Judah, ADOS, together. Because we should be working together. Sometimes you do have to put your beliefs aside, because I hate using the term religion because this is about truth, but sometimes you have to put that aside in order to get people to rock with you. I do that all the time. Although my allegiance first is to the Most High, at the same time, when I'm speaking to people, the first thing that we have in common is we are American descendants of slaves, generally. When we speak to one another, before you say anything about, hey, do you know what your heritage is? Do you know what your where you come from? Do you know that we are the people of the Most High, as spoken about in Deuteronomy, in Isaiah, and in Genesis, and in Revelations? Before you get to that point, there is something you have in common. Now, when I say Judah, I know there are other tribes out there. But when I say the tribe of Judah, what have I known most of my life? That's the American descendants of slaves. Those are the people that I am familiar with, even though specifically we're spread to the four corners of the earth. But first come the kings of Judah. Now, I'm a follower of the Grand Master of the Celestial Lodge, Yahweh ben Yahweh. I'm a follower of the man in the flesh, who the Spirit of the Most High put in him and made him his son. And I believe all 12 tribes are black. And the first thing we have to do is unite and clean up ourselves and unite under a common goal before we can help anybody else. That was his mission. And that should be the mission first. That doesn't exclude no other groups. We shouldn't be worried about that, because in every major city in America, I always say this, there's a Chinatown, a Germantown, a Little Italy, all these other groups that's created a nation within a nation who look out for themselves. And when it comes to the tribe of Judah, ADOS, we need to be concerned about uniting under specific and close related banners. And I've been thinking about that, just watching the two movements, American descendants of slaves and the Hebrew Israelite tribe of Judah. You're saying the same thing when you say Judah, the tribe of Judah, and you say American descendants of slaves. You're talking about the same group. You're talking about the same group. The first thing they have in common is their heritage here on this soil. So that's one of my missions from now and in the near future and then beyond, is that I want to bring together the tribe of Judah and ADOS, the movement. Of course, you got some Hebrew Israelites out there that believe, that's against ADOS, because they kind of believe that that all 12 tribes are not black, and they believe the Hispanics and Native Americans and other groups that do not look like us on a phenotype are Israelites. You have some people in the Pan-African movement that don't support ADOS because there's like, this is about all melanated people. But let's be clear, if you grew up in the United States as a so-called black person, then what has any other dark-skinned group of people done for you? And this isn't to completely exclude them. This is just to say, first, let's take care of our own. Why are you out here in the streets preaching that these other groups of people around the world are just like you and your community is tore up? First, you got to fix your own house. And I think you have two strong groups of people, two strong movements in the tribe of Judah, Hebrew Israelites, and the ADOS movement, American descendants of slaves. We need to link up. That's one of my missions. I'm out. Shalom. Peace.